Well, today is the day Brawl Stars has officially been global for one total year. Man, has it been a blur. I feel like it was literally just yesterday that the game was globally released, getting into the hands of millions of players around the world to experience the game that we know and love today. Right away in the beginning here, I want to say happy birthday, Brawl Stars. It has truly been a ride and changed my life forever. Now, global Brawl Stars has been around for a total of 1 year today, being released December 12th, 2018. However, Brawl Stars has been a thing for much longer than that, having a staggering 18 months in beta phase. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a year and a half. And a lot happened in that year and a half. So like I said before, Brawl Stars has been around for much longer than one total year. Basically 2 years and a half if you include beta. Brawl Stars was soft launched June 14th, 2017. Oh baby, that's a long time ago. Now that phase of the game was definitely much different. One might say a little bit on the basic side of things. There weren't that many brawlers to play with when you compare it to the game that we know today. Two of the rarities that we have in Brawl Stars today weren't in the game back then. That's super rares as well as mythics. And fun fact, Bo as well as Mortis were both epic brawlers. While we're speaking about rarities, little tasty tidbit for you guys, as well as the theme was centralized around a western feel. And I'm not gonna lie, I really dug that. I really enjoyed the music and the way everything looked. But the thing that I didn't enjoy was the upgrade system as well as the progression system. But when you don't know anything different, it felt okay. It felt doable, but Brawl Stars knew better and they switched it around. So the way the upgrade and progression system worked back then was we had two different currencies that we don't have today, probably for the best. We had chips, elixir, as well as coins. So coins are still there, baby, still kicking it, still going strong. You love to see it. But the elixirs were used to upgrade your troops, which you got out of the brawl boxes, and the chips were used to purchase other brawlers that you didn't currently have on your account. The way you got chips was opening up your brawl boxes and getting a duplicate brawler. So say for example you had a Colt already on your account, you open up the boxes, you get another Colt, they would be converted into a sum of chips. The higher the rarity is, the more chips you would get for your account. Now, the thing that kind of stunk was the legendary brawlers were like 200 chips, and there was no way a free-to-play player would ever save up that much, ever. So I was legendary free at that point, baby. I did not have one, and I didn't have one for a while. Another thing that was much different back then was the way the trophies worked. There was a cap at 500 trophies on each brawler. So once you got a brawler to 500, you couldn't get any more trophies on that brawler. So technically, if you got all your brawlers to 500, you don't have anything left in the game to do because there weren't friendly battles back then either. So it kind of displayed a little bit of a problem for some of the pro players in the game, but definitely not for your boy Ray. That was way out of reach. 500 was like not gonna happen. But even at that phase, though it was a little rough around the corners, it was extremely exciting. If you were a fan of Supercell games in the past, this was completely foreign and you had to get your hands on it and try it out. But yeah, comparing the game that we have today to the very first version of Brawl Stars is incredibly interesting and very mind-blowing. A lot has happened throughout our 1 year since Brawl Stars has been released, and a lot more has happened since Brawl Stars has just been a thing in general. So hopefully this very long intro has gotten you hooked just a little bit. Maybe nostalgia if you played Brawl Stars way back in the day, much like myself, or if you're just interested, maybe you downloaded Brawl Stars when it went global, but you want to see what all happened in that crazy 18 months of beta. So today, my friends, to celebrate Brawl Stars' very first birthday, we're going to be taking a look into the past at the absolute best moments in Brawl Stars history, or key moments that shaped Brawl Stars into the game that we know and love today. As well as I want to go over my 5 favorite updates in Brawl Stars history in beta or in global. And yes, some of them were in beta, 2 of them were. So hope you guys are excited. Let's do it. Okay, everybody, so the very first key moment or key date that I'd like to start off today's video with is July 3rd, 2017, Brawl Stars' very first big update in game. Now, I find this incredibly significant for somewhat selfish reasons, but before we get into that, which we will, I want to pass this off to you guys. Any OB brawlers out there watching this video right now that were playing Brawl Stars at that time, if you were, leave in the comments down below quickly what was the brawler that was released in that update. You only got a few seconds, pause your video, whatever you got to do, It was Piper. Piper was the very first new brawler inside of Brawl Stars, and from what I've heard from several people that were playing at that time, Piper was freaking insanely good, insanely strong, like Leon tier when he was released in the game. She was shortly nerfed after her release. Now, I find it incredibly significant because your boy Ray wasn't playing Brawl Stars at that time. I didn't download it right away. After that update, I was convinced because I remember I was at my day job and I saw Nick at Night's video on YouTube and I saw the big Piper on the screen. I was like, you know what? I gotta give this game a try. I've seen so many different things about it already. I know it's in soft launch. I gotta get a Canadian Apple ID, all that good stuff. But I did it. I downloaded it and I freaking loved it so much. So because of that update, I decided to make YouTube videos on Brawl Stars. So incredibly important in my eyes. Moving on to the next date, and that is September 4th. 2017, and oh baby did I enjoy this time period inside of Brawl Stars so freaking much. This was the update when Mama J, our thick queen, Pam, and Tara were released inside the game, along with the new rarities, so super rare as well as mythic. Now I distinctly remember enjoying this update a lot for a few different reasons. Number one, I was just starting my YouTube channel. I believe I was roughly around 300 subscribers. I was trying to cover all the information, but at that time I was in college and funds were tight. Dropping 50 bucks at a game was pretty freaking crazy, and I did that for the update, trying to get Tara because her mechanics were crazy. They were insane and I loved it so much, but the game spited me and gave me Pam, and I maxed her out anyway and made a video on it. Believe it or not, but I was a free-to-play Brawl Stars YouTuber for a very, very long time. But the other key element that I really enjoyed about that update was there was some leaked game footage of Pam before she was Pam. We called her back then the minigunner because she had the model of a bull that looked a little off, and I'll put the footage up on the screen for you guys to see with Pam's mechanics. So it was like a weird Colt bullet spray going back and forth with like healing stuff going on. I don't know if there's healing or anything. I'm not sure. I don't remember, but I remember getting so freaking hyped about that I thought, you know what, this is gonna get a crap ton of views on YouTube, and it got me really hyped. I was like, what is this new brawler? It was so awesome. Skipping ahead a few months to December 5th, 2017, which in my mind will be one of the best Brawl Stars updates to this point in Brawl Stars history, just based on how much fun that I had in it, as well as how much time I put inside of the game. So this was the update where the whole entire interface changed, where we kind of switched from that Western theme more to a futuristic theme inside the game. Dare was released, as well as the thing that I loved most was the pins, badges, medals, and crests and star powers. In this update, the upgrade system when it came to leveling up your brawlers was completely flipped on its head, and I loved it so much. It was a lot more customizable. Basically, whenever you wanted to level up a specific brawler, it followed a tree-like progression pattern where you had 3 different categories. You had health, super, and attack. You could delegate your currencies to one specific tree if you needed to. So for example, if you're playing with Spike, you find yourself dying a lot, you don't have enough currency to fully max him out, but you could prioritize the health tree, so you have a little bit more health and a little bit less damage, but you're still staying in the fight a bit longer. And that was for every single brawler. And not only that, the progression system was fine and dandy, though it was removed later on throughout Brawl Stars. But in my opinion, one of the most important elements that we have in Brawl Stars today was released in this update, and that was star powers. The depth that it added to the gameplay at max level and in competitive play was insane. It made you think a little bit more about Brawl Stars, and incidentally, it made me enjoy Mortis. Because of this update and his star power, Creepy Harvest, he became my absolute favorite brawler of all time. So a pretty important update for me, at least. Fast forwarding once again to the next Brawl Stars update, March 6th, 2018, and oh baby, will this date live on in infamy in Brawl Stars history forever, and that is Landscape Update. When I look back at it, looking at the December update, December 5th, with the pins, badges, and medals, compared to this one 1 month later, it's pretty polar opposites. The December update was really well received by the community. Everyone really enjoyed it, and this one was probably the most hated update in Brawl Stars history to date. Everything changed with the way you played the game. The game was now landscape. And if you picked up this game during global release, you're probably thinking to yourself, hey, playing this game in portrait was probably god awful. But the funny thing is, when it comes to video games, when you learn something in one specific way, it's always going to be extremely hard to switch. My very first initial thoughts was, man, this is not going to go over well. The community is not going to enjoy it, and I'm pretty sure most of the other content creators were thinking that in the back of their head as well, the first initial reactions. But thinking back to that date, if it wasn't for that, Brawl Stars might not be here right now. They had to make a decision, and it was very clear to the Brawl Stars dev team that if they wouldn't have gone this route, they would have killed the game. The retention rates were low. It was really good for a player base that was already playing the game, but for new people coming to the game, people would try it out and they would drop it right away. Something about portrait was not clicking with new players, and landscape was. The retention rates were going up, so landscape was a huge success. Not for the current player base, though we were small, but in retrospect, looking back at it, it was a very important update for Brawl Stars moving forward. Moving along and skipping a few dates along the way, we're headed to June 26th, 2018, Android release. This was gigantic. Just to kind of paint a picture for you guys, every single update in Brawl Stars that wasn't global or Android release, which, as you guys can see, we're in June of 2018, everyone was asking, when is global, when is Android? We would get these new brawlers, new game modes, new maps, new things, but every single time it was, well, it's not Android or global. A big portion of an audience was not able to play the game, which was kind of a bummer for a lot of people. So getting that reassurance that it was coming to a platform that no one was able to play before was gigantic, and it put a lot of reassurance into the YouTubers and the community that this game might go global one day. It was one giant leap in the right direction, and it was a very significant date for Brawl Stars. Once again, taking another leap down our Brawl Stars timeline, skipping a few updates along the way, but our next significant date of our video today is November 7th, 2018. The picture Brawl Stars posted and the scandal they pulled on everyone in the Brawl Stars community, the photo that started all the uproar, the sunrise or sunset, followed by a massive social media wipe over on their Instagram, their Twitter, and everything else. Everything was deleted. During this time, it's safe to say the Brawl Stars community was literally insane. And mind you, this lasted an entire week. There was people saying that the game is going to die, it's a sunset. There was people coming up with theories saying it was going to live if you look at it this way. There's people that thought it was going to die, going over to people's theories that thought it was going to live and talking about them about a theory that they said it was going to die, and things like that. A week of that torture. It was absolutely nuts. And the funny thing is some people knew about it. Lex and Kairos, I'm sure there was some other people as well, but Lex and Kairos totally fed the flame with some videos saying like it was going to die, being super pessimistic about it. And I was just trying to keep a calm head, because everyone that was playing Brawl Stars up until that point have devoted so much time into it. The players, the YouTubers, everyone put basically a year of devotion into a game, building up the community, and thinking that it was going to die or having a possibility that it could be killed was just so sad. It was literally freaking me out. I was there staying up late, watching the live stream, hanging out with everyone else, freaking out about the We Need to Talk live stream that was airing super late for my time. But hey, are you kidding me? I will stay up for 2 days to watch that important information. But it was announced, Ryan freaked out. It was so freaking hype, and just a really great time to be in the Brawl Stars community. Everyone was like really tense and relieved at the same time. It was almost like everyone just gave each other a gigantic hug, like the Android or the beta players, the beta community made it through together, baby, and we're welcoming in a brand new group of family members. You know what I mean? It was just really awesome. But then after that, we only received one more update before global release, and that was the addition of Leon, the newest legendary brawler in the game, as well as a 3D environment. That was on December 7th, and that was the very last update in beta, Brawl Stars beta. And then the biggest update of all time, December 12th, 2018, Oh baby, global release, the date that we are celebrating today, 1 year later. Now, every single date that follows that, hopefully you have stuck around for since it's been global. We've had so many new things. We've gotten Jean, we've gotten Carl, we've gotten Rosa, so many new maps along the way, a new game mode in Siege, and so many other amazing things. And it truly has been an amazing journey. I wouldn't have changed the 18 or 15 months of beta phase, definitely not, even though I wanted it to go global within the first 2 months. I'm happy Brawl Stars waited so long. I wouldn't have changed a single update, the landscape update, even though everyone hated it at the time. My beloved badges, medals, and crests and star powers were gone, but I wouldn't have changed that either. Everything that's happened along the way is what made Brawl Stars what we know and love today. And I said this time and time again in a lot of my videos, and I know it's corny as heck. A mobile game, Brawl Stars, has changed my life forever. I'm able to make YouTube videos to support myself, which is good in and of itself, but I'm also able to meet fantastic people along the way. I've been able to travel because of it and meet new people there, as well as see new places. It truly has changed my life, and I am forever grateful for a Supercell game, a Supercell mobile game, Brawl Stars. A truly epic, awesome game. Truly epic, awesome game. But guys, that's not the end of the video today. Normally you end with the snappy stuff. Ray, come on, get your act together. But what I wanted to do here at the end very quickly is just run through my 5 favorite updates in Brawl Stars history. It can be in beta, it can be in global. Like I said before, 2 of them were in beta release. So my 5th favorite update in Brawl Stars history was the Pam and Tara update. It was still a very young Brawl Stars. Everything was still kind of rough around the edges, but I still enjoyed it so much. Maybe it was because the game was relatively new to me and I was getting into YouTube, so I was super passionate about everything, trying to grow my channel, trying to get into Brawl Stars, getting into the nuances of the game, trying to learn stuff. I was just really devoted to the game and enjoying it wholeheartedly. So it might have been more of a personal thing, but hey, who cares? It was one of my favorite updates. My 4th favorite update of all time was the Jean update. If you guys don't remember how it worked, it was staggered out a little bit. The very first event that happened was the Lunar New Year update, and holy man, was that my absolute favorite environment update that we've had inside of Brawl Stars. The next week or a few days later, we got Jean. It was a really cool update. It was staggered out, content was really awesome, and it was relatively close to global release. It was just a good time in Brawl Stars. Moving on to number 3, and that is the Lloween update, one of the most recent updates in Brawl Stars, where we received Ems as our new trophy row brawler and a lot of other noteworthy things as well. Guys, I'm just a general fan of Halloween. Next year, when they do something close to Halloween, when they release something, I'm gonna have an absolute blast in that one as well. But in all seriousness, they released a lot of really cool things, such as Life Leech being back inside the game, known as Graveyard Shift. It's not very right for Brawl Stars. It's not a really good game mode for Brawl Stars, but it was fun to taste it again, have fun with it again, rip around in that game mode, as well as Power Play. Probably my favorite feature in that update, where they kind of emphasized, or they focused in on the competitive gameplay in an update, not just like a general update where we received a few maps and game mode and a new brawler and stuff like that. They kind of switched gears a little bit, which is freaking amazing. So overall, that update I loved a lot. Number 2, and I really wanted this to be number 1, but I just couldn't do it. I feel like it deserves it because it was an insane update, a very good one by Brawl Stars, and that is the 2nd Star Powers update. The update where we received Tick, we received the Star Points, we received the Star Point shops, all those new skins. We got so much content in that update, as well as it was staggered out. Every single week we got these 3 new Star Powers, which we had more content about, as well as more stuff to do inside the game. It was so much fun, and I am awaiting the day where we get 3rd Star Powers in the game. Holy man, was that a good update. It added so much depth in the game. It actually makes you think before you hop into it, if you do have your brawlers maxed out, which star power do I run? For example, if you're a Penny on Siege, do I do the 1st star power, the 2nd star power? Maybe I pick the 1st one for a little bit more damage on the IKE. No, maybe I should go with the 2nd one for a little bit more control on the map. It's stuff like that that makes you enjoy Brawl Stars. Way more depth and just a lot more fun. And finally, my number 1 favorite update of all time, I gotta do it even though we only got to taste it for a whole month, was the pins, badges, medals, crests, and star powers update. And the funny thing is, the only brawler we received in that update was Daryl. It wasn't super crazy significant. He wasn't that much fun to play either. He had like an incredibly long role that wasn't very like, the only game mode you could really play him on was like heist, and get some utility out of the super. He isn't like the deadly assassin that he is now in the meta, but it really preaches that if you make like a change in Brawl Stars, that it doesn't have to be like a brawler to get people interested. I really enjoyed that progression system, having a little bit of control, as well as it was much like the second star powers that are added just recently. We got star powers for literally every single brawler in the game, which added so much depth. It made me love Mortis so much. It made me love a lot of different brawlers. I loved Colt a lot more, being able to go a lot faster. Shelly was really intriguing with the slowdown. There was just a lot of really awesome things to love about that update. Like I said before, only got to enjoy it for a week though. But yeah, guys, that's a little recap of the significant events of our time here in Brawl Stars, in beta, in global. 2 years and a half or 2 years and a couple months it's been since Brawl Stars has been a thing in the world, and it's been a really fun time. Whether you picked it up during global, whether you've been an OB brawler since beta release, I salute you as my fellow brawler. Hopefully you guys are still having fun with Brawl Stars. Here's to the next year. But yeah, guys, hopefully you all enjoyed the video. It's probably really long. I did a lot of rambling, but I kind of wanted it to be like that in today's video, kind of reminiscing, having some nostalgia in today's video. I'm sure you guys can relate. But if you did enjoy it, make sure to slap a like on it. Really appreciate that. And with that being said, make sure to keep having fun with Brawl Stars, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace out.